a new plan for them, girl. Turn up, your body flexible, you know cranky. Turn up, you know retarded, you know handy. Turn up, you clean from your hair to your Turn up, turn up, turn up. Tell a girl, Lego, you make your body free, oh, free, oh. Your body hotter, your body no season, season. Your head sicker when the liquor creep up. When you wine, every man in the happy a free love. Which love? You mad? You know give a free love. And any man you give a love, a figure real love. Hand to hand, them a must see queen love. Foot to foot, them a must see Reebok, girl. Any man where you love him a fi stay. Some girl I love him and I no see him another day, girl. Any man where you love him a fi stay. Big and serious and I no give you a fear. You fit turn up and touch your two ankle them. Some girl I say them ready but they too bad for them, girl. Turn up and touch your two ankle them. When you see them up and you make a new plan for them, girl. Turn up, your body flexible, you know cranky. Turn up, you know retarded, you know handy. Turn up, you clean from your hair to your Turn up, turn up, yeah. Turn up, girl. Your shoes now squeeze up your foot, yeah. And you happy with the way you look. Don't have the height from the light, you no crook. Don't no matter if you're in a them good book. Girl, you just a wind up your body just because you can. Back it up, and a girl man. You don't have no back problem. When me say bend over, no problem. Turn up and touch your two ankle them. Some girls say them ready but they too bad for them, girl. Turn up and touch your two ankle them. When you see them up and you make a new plan for them, girl. Turn up, your body flexible, you know cranky. Turn up, you know retarded, you know handy. Turn up, you clean from your hair to your Turn up, turn up, turn up.
See me body a fling up for your liking. Back then with the perfect aligning. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. See me position, position.
One no sound never there. Never play one tune, one never hear yet.
See me body a fling up for your liking. Back then with the perfect aligning. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. See me position, position. See me back then, boy, see me position. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. Beat it, give me like a cherry turn red. Eagle eye me up, show me your trade. The one out on me, fi a grind for me. Cause boy, me no cater fi walking dead. Back it up, me a back it up, rough it up. Me no in a note, loving up. It's a earthquake when me bumper a shake. Send strong, but the tip of your head start ache. When me rock like snake, you a draw and break. Say it hot, but me heart cold than a frost flake. 1 round, 2 round, 3 round, 10. You reach, can me ready up again. Feel me body a fling up to your liking. Back in with the perfect aligning. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. See me position, position. See me back then, boy, see me position. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. Body clap, sitting fat. Flexibility like a laptop. Action, boy, you be stop chat. When the key, they be open me padlock. See me position. See me back then, boy, see me position. Before you give me ring, boy, mash up the thing, boy. See me position, feel the whining. On and on. Me a position. Me a position. Me a position. Me a position. All night long, boy, me a position. Everybody a feel up to your like it.
Tan to the big woman, tan to the. Tan to the big woman, tan to the. You better make sure your body no sorry. Tan to the big woman, tan to the. Hold the one, yeah. Tan to the big woman, tan to the. Your skin so smooth, yeah. Rub me, yeah, rub it. She say, whoa, when we in there, whoa. Wedding ring, I get the fling where, whoa. When you shoulda hear she a sing, say. She say she love it, me know she love it. Chuki, me a chuki will be maka. Swell up, she a swell up, her body get fatter. Say she have a man, but Charlie black hotter. Mata me na mata. Stammer she a come on she a stammer. Hammer me a hammer. Body on a fire, she a ball for your mama. Chillani you la yam mixed with the green banana. Tan to the big woman, tan to the big woman, tan to the. You better make sure your body no sorry. Yeah, tan to the big woman, tan to the. Hold the one, yeah. Tan to the big woman, tan to the. Your skin so smooth, yeah. Rub me, yeah, rub it. She say, whoa, when we in there, whoa. Tan to the big woman, tan to the. Your skin so smooth.
Taking you higher. It's DJ Nix.
Hear this.
Bam, diggle up your bam. Ready for the kulo dan. It's no rang bang, me day and so long. Travel go hang me bring you like a handband. Bend up your back and make me rhyme to a sanction. Give me a rose to leave you abandon. Teach your wine in class up a London. Show them how you wine for your mansion.
Whining work. Show them how the whining work. Whining work. Mash up the place like Wild Gilbert. Whining work. Show them how the whining work. Whining work. Mash up the place like Wild Gilbert.
She whining a fraction, the traction, the action. Me and the taxi man, but one put your pants stand. She whining such devotion and such a passion. The girl you know for force and she a bubble pants song. She whine up a storm, can't calm. She a bubble up for Joey and Tom. Wine for mass band, one put up a farm. Baseline a guan, head top the bandana. Teach them Hosanna, how the whining work.
Whining work. Show them.
Baseline a guan, head top the bandana. Teach them Hosanna, how the whining work.
Whining work. Show them.
And get lots of chances to win. Remember, cash out and auto cash out whenever you want. With casino games, you can pilot yourself to greatness with BetGreat on Aviator and more. Refer friends and redeem your free bets with our incredible loyalty program. Join now using promo code GOAL and get your welcome free bet. Experience all this and much more only with BetGreat. Be great. BetGreat.
Here we go. 50 for Virat Kohli. Well played on. Goes a long way. From Isram Kazan.
Who will rule T20 cricket's greatest contest? The Tata Indian Premier League. The epic encounters continue on Supersport.
You have all heard the word Betika, but do you know what Betika really means? To Betika is to climb to the top of the world. To Betika is to swing into the top 100 globally. To Betika is to get promoted to the next level and to win again and again and again. To Betika is to test the limits of speed and to swing hard at every opportunity. It is possible with Betika.
Welcome to Betika, the home of champions. Download OneXBet app and enjoy the variety of sports anytime, anywhere. OneXBet app, at the heart of the game.
10th. Fulham in 8th have European ambitions, with 5th place almost certain to mean Champions League football next season. Arsenal against Fulham is our main focus today on Matchday Live, but we'll also bring you all of the key updates from a big game at the bottom as Wolves host West Ham. A win for Vitor Pereira's side will move them 12 points clear of the relegation zone. Now, with 9 games to go, Wolves are currently 9 points ahead of the bottom 3. Southampton's miserable stay in the Premier League looks set to end in May, and it looks bleak for both Leicester and Ipswich, above them on 17 points each. Those 3 teams have just 9 wins between them all season. Now, after the 2 early games finish, we'll take you to the closing stages of Manchester United's trip to Nottingham Forest. Forest's fairy tale season continued at the weekend as they booked their place in the FA Cup semi-finals, and they can go another step closer to Champions League qualification today. So 3 games to bring you then on Matchday Live over the next few hours before a busy midweek continues tomorrow with 6 matches on Wednesday, the standout fixture being the Merseyside derby at Anfield. Chelsea versus Spurs ends the match week on Thursday. Well, the Premier League is back. We missed you. I hope you missed us too. Look, 55 days to go until the end of this season, and there is plenty to discuss as far as the run-in is concerned. And I've got these 2 gems with me, Ian Wright and Karen Carney. Look, let's start with the title race, Righty. Look, could Arsenal spring a surprise, or is it done?
No, it's never done. It's not done. I know it's 12 points. Liverpool probably have to lose 3 games, then Arsenal have to beat them at Anfield. It's a tall order, but it's still on the table. We'll have to see how it goes after this international break. But you must never, I believe, as a fan who's got a club that's chasing, concede the title. Never concede. It's up to Liverpool to finish this off.
It's not over until it's over. Look, Liverpool out the Champions League, lost the League Cup final. They've got the Merseyside derby on Wednesday. It's not done yet. I know 12 points is a big points gap to overhaul, but is it done for you?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Right, you've got to stay in it as the fan, but my team aren't in the Premier League. One day they might be, so I see it as a very neutral in this, and I think, look, the title's done and dusted for me, but where Arsenal have got to stay in it is the here and now. If second is the best you can get, you've got to make sure you get it. And that's that mentality to the end. The exciting part for me, the Premier League, is from actually second till 10th. Because there's so much in it, because people are focusing on other competitions, the European races, where in Europe could you go? That is the exciting part of the Premier League for me at the moment, making sure, can Arsenal say second? Who gets that Champions League spot? Who gets Europa and the conference? So, and look, from second to 10, it is really tight for those few spaces now.
Well, let's just say 5 places go to the Champions League. Is the top 5 looking like that for you, Righty, come the end of the season?
Probably, yeah. Newcastle could, depending on the buzz that they're still on after the League Cup win. You know, it's the next thing for them to try and get themselves back in the Champions League, I suppose. But you look at that 5, Chelsea, I think Chelsea, Cole Palmer fit now and playing. I feel that with their goalkeeper is going to be a problem for them. I would probably have the Man City and Newcastle. I'd probably go for in the top 5.
What about for you, Kaz?
I worry a little bit for Chelsea, actually. Just this back end, the running, as we alluded to, I just worry about them. But, I think it's good. I mean, all of them. I mean, you even look at Aston Villa, I think, were they 8th? Just off the, they need Champions League, they're in the Champions League, they're in the FA Cup. Everyone's got things to fight for.
Even Bournemouth, you look down at Bournemouth, they can have a little run.
There's only 5 points.
Villa have got 3 things, and you're like, wow, so it's an opportunity for Bournemouth. It's an opportunity for Fulham because they're focusing on just Premier League
and
now.
Brighton as well, look.
And you're right, and Manchester City, they're in that FA Cup. So it's so interesting and fun, and who's prioritising what should be the Premier League, but it's exciting.
Yeah, as I said, at the top, 5 points between Chelsea in 4th and Bournemouth in 10th. It really could go down to the last day of the season in terms of European football. Let's have a look at the bottom half of the table and the relegation picture. It has felt like that's been done for a while, but do you give Ipswich or Leicester City any hope at all, Righty?
No. And Southampton, obviously, none at all. But, I think you look at Wolves, I think Wolves, West Ham, Everton, obviously, since David Moyes has come, there's a new breath of fresh air. But West Ham and Wolves have really coasted this season. The reason they've been able to do that is because Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton have been so poor. And I think that had they had come up and offered any more, a little bit more, they needed a bit more quality, then I think Wolves would probably be in trouble. And I think West Ham obviously on 34 points. It looks, but like, I think Wolves have been able to just like coast, and they're very fortunate that them three are that poor.
Okay, and if Wolves win tonight against West Ham, it really feels like that
Yes.
is done. Okay,
Yes.
well, let's focus in on what we are looking forward to tonight, and that is the London derby to begin with. So it's Arsenal up against Fulham. Let's just bring up the teams for you and show you exactly how both teams line up. So as far as Arsenal are concerned, it's just one change from the victory against Chelsea. Nwaneri is in as Trossard drops to the bench. Nwaneri, of course, enjoyed the international break, didn't he? Scoring on his full debut against Portugal for England under 21s. Big news as far as Arsenal are concerned is Saka. He is back in the squad for the first time in 100 days. He starts on the bench. As for Fulham, well, it's 4 changes from that victory over Spurs. Cuenca, Lukic, Diop and Traore are all in the starting 11. But we've got to talk about Arsenal and the news that Saka is back.
Yeah.
How excited are you to see him on that bench, Righty?
Well, I don't know if people remember, but when Thierry Henry came back in the FA Cup and scored for Leeds, and the excitement with him, you know, in being back, it's just, this is the same. Him coming back, you know, at this stage of the season, when you probably need him the most, you hope that he's in good shape. He looked in good shape. I saw him the other day. He looked in good shape because, you know, he's still our most consistent attacker. You know, I think that he's got 10 assists, Kaz. He's been out for 3.5 months, and I think the next person for us, he's got 5. The accuracy, what we used to have with the set pieces, which is something that he's so brilliant at, we've missed. We've only scored 1 corner since he's been out, and that was against Chelsea in the last game. So I think that it's quite evident how much he's missed and how much we need him and hope that he's okay. It's very nerve-wracking watching him because we can't afford for anything to happen to this guy. I don't think people understand that.
You want to kind of wrap him in cotton,
Absolutely.
don't you?
You know, so if there wasn't so much going on this season, chasing down Liverpool, Champions League coming up, I'd just let the season ease out for him and let him just relax and start again. But like, there's a lot at stake for Arsenal at the end of this season, so it's exciting.
That said, we were talking about this off air a little bit about not just the physical side of coming back from an injury, but the mental side as well. It's a big deal, isn't it?
Well, first and foremost, we were out of vision. We were both beaming when he came out there.
Yeah,
And as he
so nice.
came out, it looked like it was his debut, you know, where it looked like he'd missed it. And I was like, oh, wow. So, yeah, we hope it goes well. But there is that inner kind of, I don't know, anxiety that, it feels a bit quick. You know, like he's returned back from that surgery. You hope that first sprint is out of his mind and he just goes for it whenever that comes on. And you hope that, touch wood, he's recovered fully. But he looks good, which is the most important thing, that mental side of the game. But he's a tough young man, as we already know, but and it is a big week. I agree, if it wasn't Real Madrid as well, I agree. I think we'd see him have a little bit more rest and recovery and attack next season, but that's how vital he is. So I'm excited and I hope he gets on.
So exciting times with Saka being back and exciting times ahead as far as Arsenal's future is concerned with their new sporting director, Andrea Berta. All of the headlines, all the back pages have been about this man here because he comes with such a great reputation. But Righty, what's he like and what are you expecting to see him change in the summer?
They didn't opt for Jason Atu at the club, which I think is a testament to Mikel wanting a different voice, wanting someone with the experience that Berta has. And I met him at the training ground the other day. He's a very serious man. You know, he's not like Edu. He's kind of coming in and he's shaking hands. He's very much in the background, you know what I mean, checking everything out. We know that he's got a great reputation. You know, 12 years at Atletico Madrid, you know, 2 La Ligas, 2 Champions League finals. He knows what it's like to have a very intense manager and the kind of manager in Simeone and Arteta who are very much all-encompassing in their clubs. So he knows how to deal with that kind of personality. And he also knows how to chase down, like he had to chase down Real Madrid and Barcelona. And so that's the caliber of person that we've got coming in, and he knows the exact player that we need to bring in now to try and challenge and really make a mark in this Premier League.
So it feels as though Arsenal are finally going to get that number 9?
You know what, though? Mikel Arteta mentioned about a big summer, but a big summer for me would be locking down your talent right now. You know, Saka, Luis Skelly, Nwaneri, giving them the deals, make sure that they're there for the long term. And if this is the guy that is to get deals done, which we've seen from him at Atletico Madrid, for me, that's the first job, is keeping the talent you've got and, of course, getting those 9s in, because It's all part of the vicious cycle, because you've got to bring people in to keep them and keep them to bring more in. So it's a big window for him. Fans will be frustrated it wasn't January, but it will be in the summer. But again, exciting times.
I think that you look at what you said there, Kaz, about
the new deals.
Yes, and the thing is as well, for him to come in at this stage is vitally important to Arsenal, because I think if they waited, I remember saying it on one of the match days, that he needs to come in now to see what he's got to do, so as he can get to the end of the season and he can get that done. Because not only you're right to mention those guys, Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri, and tying them down for the future, but you've got like Saka's contract. He's soon had 2 years to go. Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes. Yeah. So you've got 3 players that he's got to come in, and he's got to help them. He's got to convince them that this is the place.
Situation,
no, well at the end of this season we will have that, and so we've got to be looking at that situation. But he's the right person to come in and deal with that situation, you know. So again, he's got a massive job on his hands, but I think we've definitely got the right candidate for the job.
Well, definitely exciting times ahead for the Arsenal fans, especially this summer. Well, we are going to take a break, after which we'll turn our attention to our later kick-off today, and that is at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest take on Manchester United. 17 points between these two in the Premier League table, but what will separate them tonight? Lots to discuss after this.
Will he be made to pay for that? Oh, he certainly will! It's a big, big mistake by the Benfica defender. And Ibrahim Konate gets there initially, but Dembele scores! Paris Saint-Germain pounce.
This is going to be a free kick. It's Soleil, and it's an absolute beauty.
Great trickery from him. And now Conceição!
Here we go. 50 Virat Kohli. Robledo goes a long way. What a ton from Islam Kazan.
Who will rule T20 cricket's greatest contest? The Tata Indian Premier League. The epic encounters continue on SuperSport.
This April on SuperSport.
That is a beauty.
Savor the spectacle as the first men's major of the year tees off at Augusta National.
Look at this, look at this! How about the birdie?
Africa's finest distance runners tackle the big city marathons.
It is going to be a wonderful win and a world record.
While on the pitch, the top teams take a step closer to continental glory.
Maybe a chance on it. Yes. There is an excellent goal. Wonderful work.
The heat intensifies as WWE superstars collide.
Are you kidding me? No way! Oh my!
And history beckons in the Emirates FA Cup semis.
It's simply magnificent. Oh, that is fantastic!
All this unrivaled action and more, only on your World of Champions.
20 teams connected in dreams. This roller coaster isn't for the faint-hearted or weak. Rejecting defeat, what's tougher than the Premier League? Who's at the top, who's at the bottom? Anything goes when that whistle blows. Emotions are high, tolerance is low. One of the greatest Premier League seasons to ever be told. So sit back and let the drama unfold.
Catch reviews of your favourite Premier League teams only on SuperSport. This broadcast is proudly sponsored by Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League, and 1xBet, betting in your pocket.
There's the ball back. Dalla! All over now. Back to Madison. Madison! edge of the area, hits a shot. Oh, what a start! That is absolutely stunning. Easy as you like. Pressure, what pressure? It's absolutely unbelievable! Ketia looking for an angle.
Get all the goals on Netbusters or on Supersport. Brought to you by 1xBet, betting in your pocket. And Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League.
The ground that's been starved of European football, but they'll get to enjoy it once again if Forest can hold their nerve. Nottingham Forest win at Anfield. Come on! Forest have beaten United here at Old Trafford.
Cruising to all 3 points.
Hats off to Nottingham Forest. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? Nuno Espirito Santo does.
Sometimes you just gotta bang it.
Classic Forest. Come on!
How does Wood finish? He finishes fantastically.
And that's what he and that's what they have been doing all season long.
Forest are on a roll.
Another incredible chapter this is in a wonderful story of Nottingham Forest season. They can do no wrong.
What a season Nottingham Forest are having. They're giving their fans something to cheer about, that's for certain. They're in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They're third in the Premier League table, and they would love nothing more than to do the double over Manchester United this season. But I'm sure the Manchester United boss has something to say about that. His team picked up form, didn't they, before the break? So let's hear the game plan for tonight. Here he is, Ruben Amorim.
Joshua Zirkzee starts tonight ahead of Rasmus Højlund, who ended his goal drought before the international break. Is he on the bench for tactical reasons, or is it another thing?
No, it's just tactical reasons. We try to look at the opponent, try to see the trainings, and try to find the best qualities in the players to win the game. And we have to remember that it's really important, the players that can change the game in the middle of the game. So everything is we think in everything, and we try to choose the best 11 to win a game.
We know how important Bruno Fernandes is to the future of this club. Is he going to be starting in a more attacking position tonight?
You will see, yeah, but you can see from the lineup, he will play a little bit ahead, but Bruno is everywhere. So it's a player that we try to put in the perfect position to help the team to win the game. And today we have Kaz and Manu more in the part of build up, and then Bruno near the goal is really important for us.
Well, that's the plan from Ruben Amorim, but I wonder what the plan is from Nuno Espirito Santo tonight without his key number 9, Chris Wood. Well, let's head straight to the City Ground and hear from our reporter Ian Irving. Ian, it's lovely to see you as always. Big blow, though, for Nottingham Forest tonight with no Chris Wood.
Absolutely a huge blow for this football club, no question about that whatsoever, because Chris Wood had featured in every single Premier League match this season until tonight. He'd started 28 of the 29 games as well, and his form has been a key reason why this club have had such a fantastic campaign. 18 Premier League goals he's scored so far this campaign. Only 3 players have scored more, but he misses out with a bruised hip. It's an injury he picked up during the international break, playing for New Zealand in a match against New Caledonia, which qualified his nation for the next World Cup. Nuno said in his press conference that Chris Wood is improving. It's only a bruised hip, so you'd imagine it wouldn't keep him out much longer. He's obviously already missed their FA Cup win against Brighton at the weekend and misses out again tonight. But it is an opportunity for Taiwo Awoniyi to start. It's just his 3rd Premier League start of the season, his 1st since November. But he's only scored once in the league in the past 13 months. And of course, huge boots to fill with Chris Wood missing for Nottingham Forest. No Callum Hudson-Odoi either for Forest tonight. He's not available for the game tonight for personal reasons, according to his manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. So, be an interesting challenge for this Forest side to find goals without their top scorer and also without Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. The good news is that Morgan Gibbs-White is fit to start, despite picking up that knock in the Brighton game. For Manchester United, well, you heard Ruben Amorim a moment ago talk about his decision to leave Rasmus Højlund on the bench. Perhaps a surprise, considering he broke his 21-game goal drought before the break, scoring against Leicester and then scoring for Denmark against Portugal in international football football as well. See you in front of Cristiano Ronaldo, so clearly nothing wrong with his confidence at the moment. But Xerxes gets the nod tonight, so changes up top for both teams.
Ian, beautifully done. Thank you very much indeed. And let's continue that conversation here because, righty, both teams without key men up top. But Chris Wood, I mean, massive blow.
It's been an unbelievable season for him. It's just unfortunate for him that he picked up the injury when he has. Hopefully, he'll be able to get himself back so as he can play in the semi-finals and that, because I think that he's been one of the mainstays of this team and the progression of the team. When you look at the pace they've got on the wings, you've got the focal point that he brings, and then you add to that. I don't think they would have expected Chris Woods to get the amount of goals he's got, but like they would have got him in that team for me, Kaz, where he's the focal point, linking play, and maybe can chip in with goals alongside Callum Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, and Morgan Gibbs-White. But he's had the season of his life, and it's a shame. So I was saying it must be Nuno must be absolutely ripping his hair out. Well, he's not because he ain't got any. But the fact is,
we know what you mean.
You know what I mean. But like it's more a case of like, this is when he needs him now. This is to cement the top four. Do you know what I mean, Kaz?
Yeah, business end of the season.
Yeah,
you want your striker, confidence, in form, but got to find a different way now, different solution. They did it at the weekend without him, and no, this team is a team though, so everyone is vital. So they're just going to have to find a different way tonight, which is also interesting and good for the manager.
And a good opportunity for Awoniyi tonight.
Awoniyi, because we know that he's capable. Again, he's got the physical presence to do it, but like not scoring for that many. What's he say? 13 months.
A while.
That is a while. That's a long while to not score, but like then you've got a striker in front of you who's on top form, great form, so it's very difficult to come in and hopefully try to take the chance because you know that you're probably going to go out when he's fit again. So it's an opportunity for him in a very big game for him at crux end of the season. So if he starts scoring a couple now, Seema, then you know he could really make a play for himself, semi-finals.
True. OK, well, there's another live game going on tonight, and it's Wolves against West Ham. Let's hear from the managers, starting with Vito Pereira.
Vita, it's the third game in a row that you've got an unchanged side. Is that all about consistency from your point of view? Against Everton, a first start for Evan Ferguson since his loan move to West Ham. Why this game, and what is it that you've seen?
Well, he's been working hard in training. We knew when we signed him that he'd take a bit of time to get over the injuries that he's had, and he's a young player that needs to adapt to a new environment. But he's been helping us off the bench, and he's had a positive international camp. Scored a goal, so just felt that it was the right time to put him in.
We'll keep across all the action in that match for you tonight as well. OK, it's time for a break, after which we shift our focus back to our London derby. Of course, it's Arsenal taking on Fulham. Arsenal have their star man back on the bench in Bukayo Saka. Big news for them. We're going to hear from the managers straight after this.
Eu sou corintiano, meu pai é corintiano também. A gente não tinha TV a cabo. A gente ia na padaria que passava o jogo, tomava um café com leite, comia um pão na chapa para assistir o jogo do Corinthians. Meu pai sempre teve um sonho de ter um filho jogador. A única coisa para me tirar do futebol era a pipa. Ele já tinha em mente que quando eu fizesse 6 anos, ele ia me levar para o Corinthians. E aí, quando eu completei os 6 anos, ele me levou. Até hoje, do primeiro dia que eu fui lá, passei no teste. Minha mãe fala que eu tinha feito alguns gols, mas que eu era muito novinho. Eu lembro só alguns flashes, sabe? Que eu lembro que eu fiquei impressionado com o tamanho da quadra. Cheguei no Corinthians com 6 anos. E eu fui sair, eu tinha 13.
When Martinelli's father retired, the family moved to the small town of Itu. He joined the local side, Ituano, making his senior debut aged 16.
There was a certain raw quality in Martinelli when he was a teenager. That electric turn of pace, the willingness to take people on, the hunger. Those were all things within him that were evident as a young player.
Mas aí quando falaram que o Arsenal queria ser dos melhores clubes do mundo, maiores clubes do mundo, aí deu uma balançada, falei, não, tem que ir pro Arsenal. E aí a gente foi negociando e acabou dando tudo certo. A gente
It was a bit of a surprise because he was just completely out of left field. To come from the lower reaches, lower divisions in Brazil, not even at the top clubs. One of those where you think, let's take a risk. If it comes off, it's genius.
It's Gabriel Martinelli who will come on. Paid £6 million to Ituano in Brazil for his signature.
The thinking was to integrate him with the under-23s, but pretty much as soon as they clapped eyes on him, amongst the environment at Arsenal, it was evident that he needed to be integrated into the first team as quickly as possible.
Martinelli marking his full Premier League debut with his first goal in the competition. Certainly a player with a huge future ahead of him.
I saw him here in Arsenal. I said, wow, what a jump from like Ituano to Arsenal. He want to learn, he want to improve, and he want to play.
You can play low with him on the counter. You can go and press with him. I think the way he did improve is amazing. People love him at Arsenal because he gives 100 every single game.
Meu pai sempre pegava no meu pé para eu não pensar que eu era melhor que ninguém, que eu tinha que trabalhar muito, mas nessa época a gente quer mais brincar, né? Tinha uma quadra perto da minha casa e a gente ia todo dia lá e ele falava, não, hoje você vai chutar 50 bolas para a esquerda, 100 bolas para a esquerda, e ficava todo dia praticando. E acho que hoje em dia eu venho colhendo frutos, a gente sempre brinca um com o outro, que fez efeito todo o trabalho que a gente colocou lá atrás.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. We have 3 live games to bring you tonight. We've got Wolves against West Ham. Wolves hoping to pull 12 points clear of the relegation zone if they take 3 points. Forest against United. United hit a good run of form before the break, didn't they? They'll be hoping to build on that against the Forest side on a high after reaching the semi-finals of the FA Cup. And our focus, though, is at the Emirates for London derby between Arsenal and Fulham. Let's hear from both managers, beginning with Mikel Arteta.
Well, Mikel, firstly, Bukayo Saka back. Starts on the bench. How big a boost to have his personality and quality back in the group? And also, how close was he to starting?
Well, great to have him back, obviously. We missed him. He's a very important player for us, and he's back. He's ready. It was a decision always hard to put him on the bench when a player like that is available, but I think it's the right thing to do for the first game.
But no Ben White. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, he had a little niggle 2 days ago, and yesterday we tried. He wasn't feeling right, so we decided not to put him in the squad.
Okay, so maybe nothing too...
Obviously, it's a possibility that they could do, and adapt to that.
Thanks, Mikel. Good luck.
Thank you.
For me, simple. We lost an important game. Simple as that. It's done. We analyze with the players. Really short period between one game and the other. We don't have time to keep crying about something that we cannot change no more. We'll have 9 games to play, and the next one is against Arsenal tonight, and you have to be there on the pitch, like we have been most of the times this season. Where before the Saturday game, everybody was saying that it's been a great season for us again, even better than the last 2. And of course, you want to keep going, keep playing as better as you can to try to win football matches.
You have a good recent record against Arsenal. You spoke in your pre-match press conference about the importance of being brave. But what does that mean in practice against a team as good as Arsenal, that maybe presses as high as Arsenal?
Yes, one of the reasons, of course, as you mentioned, that probably they are one of the teams that press higher and strongly the opposition sides. Away and at home, probably here even more. They are really aggressive in that type of moment. The game goes in sometimes in direction of man marking, and we have to be able to be brave. We have to be able to put the right dynamic because sometimes you know that you are going to play under pressure, and that we have to be able to do it to mix well our game, not just in the feet. Space is going to be a key part on the game as well. And when I say brave, is on the ball and off the ball, because they are going to obligate in some moments to do things that we don't like to do it. But football in matches like that, we have been responding really well against them, and let's try to do it again.
Yeah, Fulham, never an easy opposition for Arsenal. Arsenal haven't managed to beat them in the last 3. That said, Mikel Arteta's face looked a bit like your two faces. The beaming smile was evident. It just goes to show how important Saka is, again emphasised by the manager there, writing.
Yeah, it was, and obviously you can imagine how tough it is for him, you know, needing a player like that in the season that's so important to everybody in the Arsenal world, and then to lose a player, arguably, you know, losing our best player for 3.5 months, you know, is tough. And so, obviously, the rehab and him coming back has to be really monitored well, because we're talking about the main crux of our football club, the cornerstone. So you want to make sure that, like I said to Kaz earlier on, you know, if it wasn't the Champions League and if we weren't so close to Liverpool, it would have been no harm to me if he didn't play again this season, just to rest, because of the amount of games he's played since he's 17, progressing all that time, England. And so if it could have been a time where he could have got a rest, you take it. But obviously, if he's fit and he's on the bench, then he's probably majorly ready to go.
Yeah, and he is their most important player, actually, and the stats back it up, don't they? The most goal involvements, despite only having 16 appearances this season.
It's scary, yeah, that amount of time out, and that's his impact. I just hope, you know, you've seen his smile, you've seen our smile that he's back. You'll see that from the manager, you see that from the fans. I hope that there's not too much pressure on him, you know, to kind of come back, come on today, make an impact against Real Madrid. But then there's an element of me go, that guy could back himself. I never doubt him, because he's just Bukayo and you love him and you want him to do well. So I just hope it's not too much pressure for him, but he's a guy that can handle it, and it's great to see him back.
Yeah, managing his minutes and how much we see of him is really important, is it not, Righty?
Well, it is for Arsenal, obviously for England as well. We've seen a young player like Bukayo Saka come onto the scene, and from the age of 17 he's been playing top-class football, not only for Arsenal but for England as well, and playing every game. It felt a little bit like inevitable that something like this was going to happen to him, and when it did happen, to have surgery on a hamstring injury, as you know, Kaz, that's a serious one. So I'm sure now that he's at the very, very best people on it, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near that team if they didn't believe that he's 100% ready to go.
Absolutely. So Saka's on the bench for Arsenal, and Fulham themselves have a great bench. They've actually scored the most goals from subs, 13 actually, this season. You watched them, actually, both of you watched them in the FA Cup. How dangerous can this side be?
As much as you say they're dangerous from goals scored from subs, I was actually really disappointed with them at the weekend in the FA Cup. I thought it was a massive missed opportunity, and throughout the season they've shown that inconsistency where games you think they might be expected to win, they don't, and teams that perhaps are judged a little bit better than them, they overachieve at times. So this is something Arsenal have to be mindful of, that they can get results against the top teams, and this is what they'll be aiming to do. Like we mentioned, they're in that hunt for European football, and they need to react from the weekend where I felt they were really disappointing, and they do have match winners in their team.
They certainly do. Anthony Robinson's definitely one to watch out for, isn't he? Well, we are going to take a break, after which we will bring you our live matches, as we're going to keep across all the goals from both of these games. It's Arsenal against Fulham. At the same time, we'll show you the goals from Wolves against West Ham. We'll be heading to Don Hutchison and Joe Spate straight after this.
All the stars in one place. The Premier League on SuperSport. Broadcast proudly brought to you by Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League. And Betway. Get way more.
What makes a city? Is it the roads? Is it the rivers or canals?